Friday Fun Challenge. I promise you one thing. This is completely unscripted, completely edited video. That is my promise to you. What I'm going to attempt to give you as many marketing tips as I can without hesitating, without stopping. I mean, there might be some oohs and ahs and all of that, but I want to give just create a challenge for myself. Let's see how it goes, right? Excited. Let's see. Okay, the first tip in e-commerce, essentially what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have a chat option always available on your e-commerce site. I mean, I'm not talking about someone if you're in Amazon or if you're that big, then it becomes really difficult. But still large companies are able to do that with automated chatbots. The next step that I want to give you is that if you're sending email, what you need to do is you need to test out the subject lines. What I mean by that is that if you're sending an email to say 100 people, now you pick five, test, pick 5% of that, test two or three subject lines, right? And then see which subject line is doing the best. Use that for the remaining 95% of the base. When I said 100, I didn't mean 100, I meant 100% of the base. The third tip that I have for you is that if you're using Facebook ads, now in Facebook ads, essentially what you need to do is you definitely need to create campaigns which are for remarketing and which are for lookalike audience. These two are a must-have. The other campaigns are optional in terms of whether you want to create awareness or lead generation or conversions on your website. Those are definitely required, but lookalike and retargeting, those are definitely required. The next step that I have for you is, let's say, in terms of loyalty marketing. Now, when you're creating loyalty, when you're creating rewards and loyalty program, you need to again segment your audience. You need to make sure that you understand what do they really need. There will be a base of customers who would need money back, or they would need cash incentives. There would be another set of customers who would probably need appreciation. There'd be another set of customers who would need some freebies in terms of the products that you have. If you have, for example, info products, they would need that and so on. So segment your customer base and then create rewards and loyalty program. Otherwise, it's very difficult to work. The next information that I have for you is, let's say, regarding Google Ads. Now, in Google Ads, when you're in Google Ads, the most important part that you need to focus on is how to get more and more impression share for a particular keyword. So that can be improved by improving the quality score. That can be improved by improving the bid. That can be improved by improving, having more negative keywords. So you get more and more impression share because your CTR is higher when you have negative keywords. So when you get more impression share, then only you can move to the next stage where essentially you are getting the traffic to your website and then trying to get them converted. Now let's talk about something else. So let's talk about affiliate marketing, for example. Now in terms of affiliate marketing, what you really need to do is you need to make sure that whenever you are tying up or you're giving an offer, you need to be sure of what is the kind of audience that you're going to get back. Now, it's one thing is for sure that if you're in an affiliate network, if you're giving coupon codes or discounts, then obviously people who are looking for discounts are going to come from those websites. It can be price comparison websites, it can be coupon websites, and so on and so forth. But to check the quality of that, to keep a tab on the quality of that, what you can do is you can keep minimum threshold on that particular coupon. So for a person needs to buy this much amount definitely, and then and only then he or she can essentially avail that particular coupon. Next, let's talk about what do you want to talk about? Let's talk about mobile apps. Right now, when you have a mobile app or a mobile version of the website, obviously the first thing that you have to make sure is that it is extremely the design is a different design than your website. But a great tip over here, what I have for you is that you need to make sure that your action items, right? Action items are never at the top. So a lot of websites, majority of the websites have the search bar at the top, have the menu option at the top, and those are really less used on mobile because it's very difficult to go up and tap and then choose that option. Rather, I would do something at the top, at the bottom, and that's why you see the buy now, you see the add to cart and all of that actions at the bottom. Another thing which is a great learning from Instagram is that if you can make everything just swipeable, right? If I can just use my mobile with just one single hand and keep on swiping and keep on tapping with just one hand, it becomes even more easier. So focus on that. The next step that I have for you, let's talk about emailers again, right? Is what you want to do is you need to make sure that emailers are sent out only and only based on the open date time, right? So you have categories of your customers and you categorize them based on when they typically open the emails. Now, it's not very difficult. It is just customer data management. And then essentially, you need to make sure that you use that time. And then that is when you send your emails to that particular segment of customers. That will get you the maximum results. Next, let's talk about variable discounts or discounts. Now, what typically happens is that, when there is a sense of surprise to the amount of discount or the coupon or gamification of that, then discounts are used much better. So what you do is you have multiple options in terms of discounts. Now you can choose whether you want to give those discounts all together and the user can select which discount that he wants, or you can run campaigns week by week by week and then essentially decide which campaign on which particular campaign you want to give different kinds of discounts. So for example, one campaign might be buy one get one. Another campaign might be get 30% off. Another campaign can be buy two get one. Another campaign can be get a certain amount in terms of cashback. Another campaign can be that subscribe and save, and so on and so forth. There can be hundreds of campaigns, but the idea is to always give a new type of discount so that the user doesn't get bored with the same kind of discount. You need to focus on innovation. You need to focus on novelty, which is extremely important. The next point that I want to share with you is that if you are into content marketing, in content marketing, you need to make sure that you clearly outline what is the objective of every particular uh, content piece that goes out. Now, you have to understand from this perspective that whoever is looking for your content, they are not essentially looking to buy in majority of the cases at that particular time, until it's the final stage, which is price comparison or features and all of that, right? So in the initial stages, the intent of purchase is very low. It is more about awareness. So you focus on awareness, and that is how you create the content. Now, you use if you want to target people who are really looking at purchasing or making a decision, then you focus on different type of content. It can be testimonials, it can be social proof, it can be product features, it can be great discounts or offers or launch campaigns. So every piece of content that goes out has to have an objective, at least in your mind, in your Excel, in your spreadsheet, so that you measure that particular objective and you don't measure something else. Like, don't create an awareness campaign and say that no one bought my particular product. The next particular thing which I want to share is that what should I share? Sorry for this. Just a little bit of mind freeze. But the next thing which I want to share is that you always make sure that you are able to understand the real-time demand of your products. Uh, Best cases, you understand that every possible day. But if that is not possible, then you understand the trends in a given week, in a given month, in a given season. What is the product that will sell the most? Which products will not sell? In a given locality, in a given society, in a given location, in a given demographic segment, and all of that. Once you start understanding that, and for understanding that, you can look at competitors and similar products. So essentially, when you start understanding them, then you understand what are they promoting. Now, if you look at all your competitors, then you will see that, okay, they are promoting a particular type of product on a given day. Or if you look at similar products or substitutes, you will look at what are they promoting. You will also see that, what is the current market demand and what is the time that your customer has on a given day. And based on that, you will understand the real-time demand. Always keep that in mind. Otherwise, you'll be spending a lot of advertising money or wasting a lot of effort in terms of marketing on promoting the wrong product which does not have a demand. Don't try to create a demand. Just see what is the demand and use it. The next thing, let's talk about customers. We haven't talked much about customers. What you need to do is you need to capture a lot of data about customers. I talked about this in one of the previous posts that I had recently made. Is that once you start capturing the data about customers, especially focus on the source of the customer. Now that is very important. Very few people capture it. Once you capture the source of the customer and the details of the last transactions source, then you will have great insight. So, for example, a customer came for the very first time, say from Facebook, and he bought something over there. That's great. Now you understand that okay, this person was essentially not really looking for your product, but that was an impulse purchase that he made. Now, what you need to do is the next thing that you need to do is you need to track the last purchase of that customer also and see the source of that. So once you see that, okay, the source was email for that, or the source was direct search for that, directly coming to the website, or the source was, a retargeting campaign and so on and so forth. Then you understand the mentality of the customer, and then when you start aggregating that data over time, you will see trends for every customer. Which channel do they prefer, which channel really influences them, and then you focus more over there. I'm not saying that don't focus on other channels, keep them on, yes, but focus more on that particular channel which gets you better conversions for a particular customer. And that is why it is very important to store that data. The next thing which I want to talk about is let's talk about a little bit about programmatic. I don't know if you use it, if you don't use it, and so on. But I would definitely recommend that you have to test out programmatic. You have to have a demand side platform. You have to work with an agency. You have to test it out, because that is where you are able to identify a lot of audience which is typically not found on other platforms, Google, Facebook, and so on and so forth. And with the right type of creatives, with the right type of targeting, with the right type of audience targeting, you can get good results. It is essentially a display network. It is nothing more than that, but uh, with much better real-time bidding for the particular customer, or for the particular ad watcher. Okay. Next thing, let's talk about a little bit about ads. We haven't talked about a little bit of anything about ads. Now, when you're creating ads, when you're targeting a particular customer, the first thing that you need to do is, it's very obvious, no one does it. The first thing that you need to do is you need to understand what is the problem that you're solving, right? Don't show a campaign where your product is shown first, right? And especially if it's a product which is barely known. If it's a toothbrush or if it's a soap and all of that, that's absolutely fine. But if people don't really understand your segment, I've seen, because it's really true in today's scenario where everyone is trying to create something new. Everyone is coming up with new product categories, innovation, finding out new niche and all of that. Especially in that case, you need to first of all understand your customer's need, mention that why or what are you doing to solve that, and how your solution is better than the other substitutes that they have. Right? I personally have gone through this. I've made a lot of mistakes. So, for example, I started selling a course. I made a course for healthcare, and I started promoting that. I got great response during last year, because everyone was at home. It was lockdown and all of that. But I essentially realized that that is not the actual solution that healthcare professionals are looking for. They are looking to outsource all that work. They don't want to learn marketing. They don't want to understand digital marketing. Some of them wanted to, and those were the ones that were the go-getters, and those were the ones who wanted to have the control and do everything in-house, because they understood that it's a very key skill. But the lower end of the strata, or the people who really didn't want to rise above mediocrity, they wanted to just outsource. So that is what you need to understand, in terms of, first of all, understand that your requirement of your customer might change from time to time. So if you've understood your customer just once, it's not that that's going to be there forever. It will change every month, every 2 months. It might change every week. Depends on the scenario, depends on the competition, depends on external factors and a lot of things. So always have that research mode on, where you're understanding the latest requirement of the customer and position that in the ad. The next thing which I want to talk about is pixels. Now, pixels are again very important. You need to make sure that you have the right pixels. integrated across platforms. Now, there are a lot of ways by which you can have pixels tagged on particular platforms, where if anyone comes to this website, that pixel, that information from that can be passed on to your custom audience on Facebook, on Google, and other platforms. And once that is done, then you can target the same person across different platforms. So use a pixel which passes on the data, which has the capability of passing on data across multiple ad platforms. You can use it in your emails too. Let's talk a little bit more about emails. Yeah, I like emails. You need to have drip campaigns, right? A lot of people miss out on emails. The basic drip campaign, one of the most basic drip campaigns that works like magic, is that you send out an email and then schedule another email, the exact same email, to be sent out to all the people who did not open that first email after 3 hours or 4 hours or 6 hours, depending on the frequency that you want. It has amazing results. Exact same subject line, exact same content, just sending that email again, right? Because when the person is receiving an email, you don't know what they're doing. They might be, just in the mode of deleting emails. All of us are in that mode, right? Once in a day, we'll just start swiping and just moving emails to the bin. If you caught your email receiver at that time, just send it again after a few hours. That's not even a drip campaign. That's like resending that mail. But drip campaign is essentially scheduling a set of emails and sending it again and again. You will get much better response, 5% to 20% much better response, depending on the content and depending on the target audience. Now let's talk a little bit more about target audience. Now, when it comes to target audience, you need to understand that your target audience is very different on social media. It's very different on search engines, right? But the biggest tip that I'll give you is that when you're looking at target audience, when you're trying to optimize your target audience, always break them into segments. Never have a large chunk when it comes to age, when it comes to gender, when it comes to location, when it comes to interest, when it comes to keywords. Have a lot of segments so that over a period of time you will understand which segments are working better for you, and those are the target audiences which are your true customers. I'm not saying ignore the others, but you'll understand that focusing on this particular set of target audience will get you better results, and focusing on that set of target audience will not get you the same amount of results. That is what you need to understand. What else? Let's talk a little bit about website. Website conversion rate optimization. That's one of my favorite topics. The biggest issue that happens is that a lot of people add products to the cart, but then they don't complete the purchase. Now you need to understand what is happening. You'll be shocked to understand that one of the major reasons is that there is no auto responder. There's no automatic mail that is sent out after a person drops out. There is no one who calls that person. There's no one who there's no automatic WhatsApp message that goes out. The best way to convert, and especially if you're a mid-sized business, I'm not saying that you're an Amazon or Flipkart who cannot do it manually just because of the number of transactions that they have. But if you get say up to 500 to 1,000 transactions a day, right, you can have one or two people who manage say 2 to 300 dropouts every day. Why not? And even if they get a conversion rate of say 20 to 30% of that, you get additional 40 to 50 sales just by a person talking and explaining the issues. Now the issues might be that they might have an issue with the payment gateway. They may not have that particular credit card. They may not have they may be confused with UPI, or it can be something as simple as they did not understand a particular policy in terms of returns or exchanges, or in terms of the duration if it's a course, or any such simple thing. It can easily be solved by human intervention, which also creates a lot of trust, right? And that is also required in terms of sale, right? Let's talk a little bit more about a sale on a website. So when a person comes to the website, what is the first thing that has the biggest impression? And in majority of the cases, most of the people who don't want to purchase are influenced by that. What is that? The speed of the website, right? And yet I see very, very, very large businesses who have extremely bad scores when it comes to website optimization, especially on mobile. Right? Look at the scores on Google Page Index, or look at the scores on GT Metrics. You have to make sure that that score is maximum. That is the least you can do. If you create a website and people are not even able to open that in 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, then this is such a simple basic thing. I don't even know why I'm telling this to you, but I can bet that 80% of the websites that have more than say 1,000 transactions and up to 5,000, 10,000 transactions have poor site speeds. And the websites who don't have much transactions in 10, 20, 30, 50, and when I say transaction, it can be a lead, it can be an inquiry also, they will have even much poor score. Website is not static. You don't create it once and you forget it forever. You have to make sure that you keep on updating it day on day on day. Okay, the next step which I want to share is that I want to talk a little bit about social proof. Now, social proof, you all understand that. Now, what is really important for you to understand is that Google My Business has a huge impact if you also have a physical location. Now, that physical location might just be your office, it might just be your warehouse, it might be just be a place where you don't sell your products, but you have your staff over there. If the ratings, if the reviews, if the images, if the videos are not great over there, then it will not work. So a great tip for Google My Business, and especially for people who are in the offline world, what you need to make sure is that you need to essentially have a lot of posts, a lot of images, and a few videos posted every few days on Google My Business. Of course, it has to be keyword optimized, but if you keep posting new images and new videos, and if you keep encouraging your customers to leave reviews, then your ratings will go up much higher, and that will definitely have a huge impact on your sales, on your footfalls. It can be online sales also. And social proof also, you have sites where employees can leave reviews, especially old employees. That also needs to be taken care of. That's online reputation management. Now, the other important thing that you need to make sure is that you need to be addressing anything and everything around your brand keyword or your brand category, especially on discussion forums, especially on Q&A forums. Now, if there are some negative comments on Quora, on Reddit, on any other website, even it can be even Facebook or Instagram, or it can be any other site which collects reviews or is a classified site, as an aggregator site, you need to make sure that all those are addressed. If it's a question, you answer it. If it's a question in your category, you answer it properly. You don't promote yourself. If it's something else, then if it's a complaint, you address it immediately. And for that, you need to have the right tracking tools, tracking software. The next thing which I want to talk about is branding, right? I mean, I hope I'm not boring you. I'm giving you a lot of content over here. It's just a Friday challenge for me. I'm just seeing how much I can share with you. I love sharing, and I love helping brands to get the maximum out of the online world. That is what I do for a living. That is what I've been doing for the last 12 years. That's at the core of me. So that was a short promotion about myself. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about videos. Now, when it comes to videos, if you're creating informational videos, you need to understand that YouTube now focuses on the total watch time. That is why you need to create longer videos, because if you get a lot of views on videos, then and if it's a very short video, then the ranking will not be as high as if you have a 7 to 10 minute video and people watch say 30-40% of that. That's good 3 to 4 minutes of watching the video, and the total watch time really matters when it comes to overall ranking and overall promotion of the video by that particular platform, which is essentially YouTube in this particular case. Right? You also need to make sure that if you're on Insta or if you're on other platform, let's talk a little bit about social media quickly. Right? In social media, what does work? Now, social media also includes LinkedIn. It also includes Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, anything and everything. Now, what is happening recently is there's a war between all social media platforms. What is that war? That war is to promote a new feature. Instagram is promoting Reels and Live. LinkedIn is trying to, I don't know whether it's promoting or not, but it has a new feature of stories and documents in the form of slides. Not really new, but new in terms of what was there in the past. And similarly, other platforms have other new features. Now, whenever they launch a new feature, they want to make sure that it is it becomes popular. And for it to become popular, they give it a little extra boost. Whoever uses that particular feature gets an extra boost. So that is the first layer. The second layer is that in that also there are formats, and those formats are pushed higher. Now all this has become really popular. For example, if you look at Instagram Reels, now there will be a certain type of video, a certain format of video that will be trending on a given day or in a given week and all of that. And people start following that trend. So if your brand also starts following that particular trend, you are going to do much better as compared to just posting regular text or images, which is probably, in today's world, which is like, 100-year-old. So don't do that. Use the latest trend. You can have your content ready in terms of what you want to promote and what is the objective of it. But the format of it has to be decided maybe 2 or 3 days only in advance, sometimes even on that particular day. That is what really works on all social media, right? And I know that I'm creating a video, and video is probably not the most popular format on LinkedIn or on I don't know where else I'll promote it. I might promote it on Instagram, I might promote it on YouTube and so on. But that is what really works when you have decent content, but you really want to use the power of the platform and what the platform is promoting. So use that, right? Understand the algorithms. It's very important to understand the algorithms of each other platforms. Oof, what more? I just want to keep giving. I just want to keep sharing. That is what I want to do. I'll be really glad if you can implement even 1 or 2 or 3 things. The other thing that I want to warn you about, it's not related to marketing. I just wanted to warn you, there's a great video that I've seen, Guy Kawasaki. I'm sure a lot of you know him. His video on art of innovation, he shares 10 points, but the 11th point, which is the greatest point, he says, beware of the bozos. The bozos in Lamborghinis or in expensive cars, expensive suits, throwing money everywhere, giving tips here and there and all of that. Beware of them. He said that many, many, many years back. And that's become so true in today's world. Please ignore all of that. I mean, don't you know all of that? Don't you know, things like, okay, you have to have a routine, you have to work hard, you have to you have to have a vision board, you have to have secret, you have to have this, you have to have that. Sorry, I'm digressing, but I just need to share this quickly with you. But if you know all of that, then why are you not where you really want to be? Now, the answer of that is only with people who have actually achieved success or have made others successful. They understand what is that really makes other people successful, and that is not all this bogus which is going around everywhere on the internet. It is not all of that, none of that. Because just imagine, if I had a way of making anyone successful, and if I knew what it takes, then why would I give it for free? That is what you need to understand. And when I say it's not I'm talking about all those people that Guy Kawasaki was talking about in the 11th point, in the bonus point of his greatest talk ever. So look at that, watch that if you want. But let's come back to marketing. And that was a quick break for me. Okay. The next thing which I want to share is that, there's a lot of issue in terms of too much choice for everyone. and which is true also on your particular website, if you're e-commerce, or the number of products or services that you offer, right? So what essentially happens because of that is the customer is completely confused when they have like a million choices, or 1,000 choices, 100 choices, anything above say 100. Now, I'm not talking about clothes, right? But what you can do is you can restrict the choices by giving the right amount of filters. If you have a lot of products, if you have a lot of variants, having that is good. You should have a lot of variants, but make it very easy for the person to actually choose the filters, choose the right filters. The right filter might be in terms of size, in terms of gender, in terms of price, in terms of date, availability, whatever it is. Have those 4 or 5 top filters which your customer wants, and make sure that they apply those so that the choice is limited only to product and the variants that are meant for them. Use those, and that is where you will have much better conversion. Same goes for search bar. Encourage them to use search bar if they have spent a certain amount of time on the website and they have still not added a product to the cart. Encourage them to use the search bar by your design, in your design. The next thing which I want to share, which I want to talk about is you have to also enable an advanced feature which is available on a very, very, very few websites. Now, this feature is essentially called, taking the, I don't know what's the technical term for it, I'm sorry for that, but essentially taking the feedback of uh, people who matter to you. And that is where sharing those images, getting the votes done over there, that's mostly done in lifestyle. That helps a lot. Use that feature as much as possible, right? I'm not really a great promoter of that because it's not really used by a lot of brands, but use it if you can. The next thing which I want you to focus on is that if you're selling on multiple platforms, now for example, if you're selling on e-commerce, if you're selling in retail, if you're selling on mobile, if you're selling on social media, if you're selling on WhatsApp, wherever, whenever you add a new platform, have some exclusive deals over there. Now it can be exclusive products, it can be exclusive delivery times, it can be exclusive membership, it can be something to promote that particular a channel, selling channel, sales channel. And that is very important because people are used to just going to the same old website, and there's a reason why you want them to migrate to this new particular channel, and that's why you do this. The next point which I want to share is that nowadays make sure that your payment options are really very simple, very easy. There are lots of options available, but I still see that most of people are still stuck to a very old payment gateway, right? I mean, there are so many options available in terms of EMI, in terms of 0% EMI, in terms of UPI, in terms of using your points from wallet, and so much more. Now, I know that most of the bigger players are fine over here, but most of the smaller players fail over here. So in that case, you use a very simple solution. You create a single page where you list down all your QR codes, you list down all your payment options. It can be bank, it can be NEFT, it can be, as simple as, this is where you deposit the money in the bank in this particular account's name, and all of that. Give all the options available, make it possible. But best would be to have payment gateways that enable all of this. The next thing which I want to share is that you want to make sure that whenever you are focusing on creatives, on content, you need to make sure that that is all followed in a single repository. You cannot have that everywhere, spread everywhere. Right? You need to have a simple content scheduling calendar. Right? You need to make sure that every day, at what time, which particular post or which particular video will go out, or which particular blog will be published. What is the objective of it? When will you measure it? Let's talk about measuring a little bit, right? The next thing that I want to, I think I've said enough. So this is the last thing which I want to share today, is that the most important thing that you want to do is you want to have defined KPIs, defined metrics for every marketing activity that you're doing, whether it is engagement rate, whether it is number of likes, comments, shares, whether it is the click through rate, whether it is impressions, whether it is anything else. You measure all of it, but the overall objective is simple. It is revenue, it is profits, it is return on advertising spends. So anything and everything that is related to a much higher objective. It can be, if there's a way you can measure your brand equity, measure that, but measure a top objective, but underneath have multiple small KPIs, and review this. Have a meeting every week on this, at least once. Review, okay, what's happening on emailers? How's the open rate? Is there a problem with the open rate? How's the click rate? What is the purchase rate? What is the ROI? Do this for all the channels. Just keep doing this. This is very simple. I know it takes time. I know you have to capture all of this, but if you're not able to do this, then you cannot succeed in marketing. So that's it for Friday challenge. I hope I did not bore you. And if you really want much more details in terms of how all this and much, much more can help your business, you can contact me. Enjoy. Have a great weekend.